Hello, everybody. Welcome to VibeCheck. This is the first episode of our podcast.
Very exciting. Very excited. It took us a long time to set everything up.
I'm Megan Marx, and this is
Andley Wu.
I'm a graphic designer. That's what I do at OLO. And
I am a research psychologist.
Yes. Okay. So we just wanted to start a podcast. Why did we start a podcast?
Well, I think, first of all, why do we want to start the business that we want to start? And to the podcast that we're doing now. Basically, we saw a gap in the market where psychology, research, and design were often seen as separate fields of business. So we saw the gap, so we wanted to tie everything together and help people or companies create content, create services, create ideas based on our research, based on the design that's based on the research, and help people generate interest and attraction.
Exactly. And I think that, we're really one of the only agencies in our area or possibly in the country that does it this way.
Yeah, I think so, because if you look at psychologists, we're not usually the most, look at me type people around. We want to be private. We want to talk about your feelings and how does that affect you. But I think on a grander scale, psychology is everywhere.
Yeah.
If you're a human being, if you're a business, you're dealing with people at the end of the day, and this is where all of that information, human behavior, how people perceive things, how people design these things for people, is what we're trying to communicate and explore.
And I mean, even as a design company and as a designer myself, I constantly think so much about how psychology ties into branding and into the services that we offer our customers. So yeah, I definitely think that's an interesting conversation. Essentially, we're just here starting a podcast because we felt like it.
These are wanting.
Yes.
And it's fun.
Exactly.
This is what we're going to do now, right, Meg? So we've come up with a few questions that we wanted to ask each other. And we want to just create something lighthearted and fun and see how this evolves. Let's see what kind of interest we generate. And I want you guys to follow on this journey with us to see where this can actually lead us. It might lead us into the stratosphere, or it might stay here within this room ourselves. But it's for us. It's hopefully you guys get to resonate with it. And we'll go from there.
Yeah. It's a creative outlet for us as a team, I think. It's just a way for us to have fun, introduce OLO to the world, and, just talk about some things that we find interesting. So I think that's what we're meaning with the questions, is that we really we'd like to
show our personality.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, do you want to ask the first question?
So, let me see. So we planned this. We just transferred everything onto my phone, because we had some technical difficulties earlier on. So Megan actually came up with some, short fire questions that we want to ask each other, just for you guys to understand, like, the type of people that we are. So as you guys can see, this is our first recording.
Yeah.
And we're still fine-tuning a few things as we go along. So hopefully you guys can see our progression.
Exactly. I mean, let's just be honest. We have almost no idea what we're doing, but that's the beauty of it, right? You get to see the authenticity. So that's definitely the...
Should I start with our first question?
Yes, please. Ask me a question.
What is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten?
The weirdest thing I've ever eaten? I don't even remember writing these questions, so they're all like surprises to me. The weirdest thing I've ever eaten? God, I don't know. Maybe I think a frog.
A frog?
A frog. Or like
a live frog? A cooked frog?
A cooked frog.
Where did you eat the frog?
It was actually I think it was at Gold Rush City. There was like a restaurant there, and we spent the whole day at Gold Rush City, and then someone dared me to eat a frog. So I ate a frog.
Did you eat like the whole frog, or was it like frog legs?
I ate like a piece of its leg.
A piece of its leg.
And it was rubbery.
Okay. That's okay. That's not too bad. And I'm Asian, so weird things are apparently our normal. So weirdest thing I've eaten is a scorpion.
You've eaten a where?
No, Thailand. So they're almost, for them it's like eating chips. Right, so they've got like centipedes and millipedes and scorpions and locusts and stuff like that. I only had one though, like one little one, and it doesn't taste like anything. It was just really crunchy and spicy and salty.
Spicy.
Yeah, so they're like almost like stir fried.
Oh, like they spiced it.
Yeah.
But does the actual scorpion taste like anything, or is it just scorpion flavored?
Yeah, I don't really want to try. It doesn't taste like scorpion flavor. Because if you ask me what scorpion flavor tastes like, I have no idea.
Probably tasted a lot like the scorpion you ate.
No.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. If you could live in any TV show or movie, which would you live in and why?
You know,
Complicated one.
I did not plan my answers to these questions at all. I'm just
Did you even read these questions?
I got them from ChatGPT. If I'm being honest, yeah, that's where I got them.
So ChatGPT is gonna be a game changer, guys. But we'll get in on that topic probably in a later episode.
Yeah.
Because that's sort of revolutionizing a lot of
Everything.
people do things.
Literally everything.
For me, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll remove a lot of like. Okay, I don't want to get into it now, but we'll do, guys. We'll wait for that.
Yeah, we'll make another podcast episode focusing on ChatGPT because honestly, that's a whole topic on its own.
Yeah, that we can spend a whole day on that.
Literally.
Okay, live in any TV show or movie, which would you live in and why?
Okay, I'm gonna say I would live in Bikini Bottom in the SpongeBob SquarePants scene. Why? Because I want Patrick to be my best friend.
So not Spirited Away, no.
So now you're making this hard.
And now I wanna understand how you'll make.
I've had a straightforward, simple answer, and now it's not about
straightforward and simple. It's about they want to know more about us. You've got a tattoo of me.
I do actually.
Can show the camera of no face on her arm, and yeah, that's yeah, exactly.
Honestly, you know, I'd probably still pick SpongeBob because Spirited Away, there's obviously a lot of spirits, right? And some of them are good spirits, some of them are bad spirits. I don't want to run into a bad spirit. I don't know about you. Although the bathhouse does seem kind of nice, so I like.
It does.
It does.
It does.
Do you remember those? I think they were ducks, or were they frogs?
They were frogs.
They were frogs that just like chill in the.
Yeah, frogs. They were like chilling there in the
I want to be one of those. But I'm still going to say SpongeBob because like I want to hang out with Patrick. He seems like a lot of fun. Okay. He knows how to have a good time.
Okay. we'll go with that one.
Yeah, and you?
Probably something in the Marvel view.
You were going to say that.
I don't know if you guys can see, is my man Iron Man at the back here is probably my favorite superhero. It's strange with this though. So I grew up. Everybody knew that I'm a huge Batman fan, and for one of my birthdays, for whatever reason, everybody that came to my party bought me Iron Man stuff. It wasn't coordinated, it wasn't planned, and I'd at least tell the world I'm an Iron Man fan, but from that day on, I was like, since I got all this Iron Man stuff, I guess
I'm an Iron Man fan now.
But they do have a lot of similarities. The whole playboy, millionaire, philanthropist thing, so yeah.
And why Iron Man, like, specifically?
He's a normal person, just like Redman.
Okay.
He's a normal person who said he's a billionaire. He's a normal person. He doesn't have any superpowers, just like Batman was. And they wanted to change the world. So that's a theme for me since I was a kid. Never really felt I fit in because I grew up in South Africa and being Asian. And like wanting to help people change for the better. I think that was really my thing. Hence becoming a psychologist as well.
That makes a lot of sense. And I also think, you know, that's really the grander philosophy behind OLO is that we want to make a difference. In a really crowded marketplace where a lot of people just aren't, you know. So, yeah, that's interesting.
So I think on that, so just with regards to our company, we know there's a lot of people doing similar things. We know there's big companies doing this. We know there's small companies that are trying to do this. We know there's medium companies. But where we want to come out is we want to be able to provide a service where we can help. I don't want to say the underdogs, but we want to help people that don't even know that they need the help.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we can help them, take them to the next level in terms of what we're doing, in terms of recognition, in terms of research. Because a lot of businesses start out, it's a gut feeling, they don't have the research. This is where we come in. We'll help you with the research and we'll let you understand this is what the market actually looks like. This is the type of competitors. So you don't throw a whole bunch of money in a project that you think might work.
You can't base big decisions on guesses or estimations. You got to, make informed decisions.
Sometimes you get lucky. Let's be honest. There are people that get lucky, but rather have the safety net.
Exactly.
The informed decision. Like I'm all for taking risks, but make sure it's an informed decision.
Or a calculated risk, Yeah. Okay, well, nice to know that you'd live in the Marvel universe.
Yep, 100%.
And you'd be Iron Man. I'd just be mainly back with Patrick.
I don't know if I would be Iron Man. I just want to be there.
You just be Andley.
Yeah. I want to be my own superhero.
It's just be...
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we need to find a superhero name for you, honestly. Could be Andley.
Okay, next question. What is your spirit animal and why?
My spirit animal, a guinea pig.
Explain more, please.
Okay, so a couple of years ago, I went to Plantland down the road with Tristan.
Yeah.
Okay, Tristan's my boyfriend for context. I talk about him a lot because, let's be honest, I like him a lot. But yeah, I do. So we went to Plantland and there was this little guinea pig there, right? And like she looked at me in this like specific way. I don't know how to describe it, but she gave me the eyes, right? She gave me the look, and I just knew we were soulmates. Okay, so I took her home, only to find out that I was severely allergic to rodents. So we never really spent much time together, although don't get the wrong idea, she was a very happy guinea pig. She had lots of outside time. She loved her life. But I actually got two guinea pigs for the price of one because she was pregnant. And then I had like...
You got more guinea pigs for the price. Not just 2 guinea pigs for the price.
Yeah.
She had like...
Actually, yeah, no, she did. She had I think she had like 3 guinea pig babies, but they were just like the loves of my lives. And now I'm just like, I love guinea pigs forever. I don't know why. It's just...
I also like guinea pigs. I had a long-haired one. His name was Xerxes.
Xerxes.
Yep. And that was because we watched 300, the movie 300.
Yeah.
And then the evil bad guy's name was Xerxes. He had the same color combo. He was black and gold. So he had that vibe going.
And yours?
Definitely a tiger. There's not even a con. No, I don't have to think a lot. I was born in the year of the tiger, the Chinese zodiac, and I've got a tattoo of
tiger tattoo.
And I've always seen it as like a guardian spirit. And no one's asked me about this, but just since I was a kid, that's what's in the back of my head.
And that's why your spirit animal is a tiger and mine is literally a guinea pig.
Yeah, the big contrast.
Yeah, it says a lot about us, I think.
Isn't there like a fable with a lion and a mouse?
I think
Right there, there's a fable.
it might be.
Hopefully I'm trying to relate something positive. Just like the lion going to eat the mouse afterwards. Yeah, anyways.
Yeah, no. But mice are cute.
Mice are cute.
And, you know, in some ways, maybe they are more powerful than lions because they're tiny.
Well, they have to survive and they have to be smart.
Exactly.
Yes, I think that's... So in the Chinese zodiac, the mice is seen as a cunning, smart animal.
Okay.
Yeah. It knows how to survive.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have another question for us?
I do. I've got quite a few.
Well, the more the merrier, right?
What is the most useless talent you have?
The most useless talent I have? Okay, wait, give me a second. I think...
Can challenge the useless. If you have a talent.
It's like I guess it's intended as like something you can do that is like, oh wow, cool, you can do that. But like, how is that?
So it doesn't contribute.
Like no one's ever going to care about that. But like I can do this thing with my finger where I can snap it back and then it becomes a loose. Like that. Yeah, and I can also... I have like weird hands. I can put all my fingers next to each other, which most people can't do.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I wonder if
like your thumb's got... Yeah, exactly. It's just talent. But other than that, yeah, I don't...
Those are the hands. You've got long nails, so...
No.
So I guess this is my useless talent.
Wait. Like this?
Yeah. So you have long nails, so you just can't prop it up, but yeah, I can like see. No, I can't think of anything.
I'm pretty good at over-salting my food, if that counts.
No, I'm pretty good at it. I got a salt cutter recently, like to shoot flies with.
Oh, yeah. And you're like a major shot.
No, but it turns out that's pretty good for salting your braai or whatever.
Oh my God. Salting your brow.
Get it like just the right amount. It's a salt zone. I'm doing free advertising for Bugger Salts.
Bugger.
So maybe your Bugger Salt sees this, hit us up and we can help you out with some other.
You never know.
Yeah, for research.
Okay, yeah, so that's useless talents. I don't think
Useless talents, being able to salt my food with a Bugger Salt gun.
Wow.
Is it useless though?
No, actually.
It's pretty good.
Actually, that's pretty useful to recall. It's like Salt Bay, but like on the...
More on the other level.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Next question.
Okay. I'm prepared.
Well, if you could have any superpower, but it had to be completely useless. Let's go on with that train. If it's completely useless, what would it be?
And useless superpower. Okay, so basically the first question was, do you have any useless superpowers? And the second question is, if you don't, what do you wish you had?
What would you wish you had? But it's useless.
But what's the point of having a superpower? Like, can you even consider it a superpower then? I guess
it's not really right. So I saw this somewhere, and somebody responded like, "You're able to go back in time for 5 seconds, but as soon as you do, right, you like freeze and you can't do anything for 5 seconds after."
Okay, so basically,
so there's no point.
Yeah, because you can't change anything.
You can't change anything.
Have you ever seen About Time, the movie?
I love that.
Me too.
With what's her face? With the ginger.
Yeah, that ginger dude. And I think it was Rachel. What?
Yeah, Rachel.
Rachel, yeah, okay.
I actually really like that movie.
Yeah, he does like the whole attack. Yes. And then he was like, I wish I could do that. But that's not useless. That's pretty useful.
It's very useful.
Yeah. I would change a lot of things. A lot of things.
Do we want to go down that path?
I don't think so. I think it's
not today.
It's not today, at least. Maybe once you guys get to know us and I'll open up more about things I'll check in.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Do you have a specific useless superpower?
But that's the thing. You don't see. It's a difficult one. You don't want a useless superpower.
No, you don't.
You want a superpower that's useful. So it's like you said, it's not
a superpower.
A superpower.
It's just a power.
Yeah. I can't think of anything now. I'm on the spot. We'll get back.
We'll get back
to the end.
We'll circle back.
And the next question, someone answers that. If you were a character in a rom-com, what would your meet cute be?
Ooh, okay. I like this question. I would be... I don't know.
Wait, what's a meet cute?
What's a meet?
I don't know. So the only reference I have to meet cute is in 22 Jump Street. So when Channing Tatum's character meets his like bro on the American football field and they drop the sandwich.
Yes, that's exactly what a meet cute is. So like, you know, when you're like watching a romance movie, right? And like girl meets boy, boy meets boy, girl meets girl, whatever the scenario is. When they're planning like the set, they've got to like plan how are these people going to meet. So it's always like one ridiculous moment, like girl drops sandwich, boy picks up sandwich, and
so that's the meet cute.
Yeah, so like what would your meet cute be?
When did people start using meet cute? Has that always been a term?
It's always been a thing.
I don't watch that many rom-com movies, so maybe that's...
Admittedly, I do. Admittedly. I think it would be something ridiculous, like maybe I would be majestically riding on a giraffe, like through the savannah, and then maybe the love of my life is like on an elephant, but...
So giraffe and elephant?
Yeah, and he like rams...
The giraffe?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So story.
So I'm picturing like a Beast Wars battle moment where an elephant was fighting a giraffe and Megan's sitting on top of, I don't know where she's just got the head or the bottom of the neck.
Let's just say I'm not very good at making up stories, okay? Because I don't know what the hell my meet cute would be.
I mean, let's take it seriously. So, how did you meet Tristan?
Okay. Well, there's no elephants or giraffes, so epic deals and battles. I was actually talking to his best friend on Instagram. We were like friends at the time. And then he just like randomly one day said to me like, hey, you're a lot like my friend Tristan. Do you want to talk? Yeah. So he put us in contact, and then 7 years later, here we are.
So we
met.
Okay, so that I worship it.
How'd you and Bobby meet? Like, what's your real life routine?
So Bobby's a girl, first and foremost. Just want to put that out there. People always get confused. So we first met each other, but we didn't meet each other. It was at a friend's party, and she was with her ex, and I was with my ex then.
Yeah.
And like 2 years later, I was in the States, and I was coming back to South Africa, and I just messaged her because I'm actually quite a direct person. I was just like, hey, what's up? What you guys like to? Yeah, exactly. And that was pretty much that.
Well, I mean, at least that's a much more like movie-worthy meet cute. I mean,
it's also sort of boring. It's just there wasn't like. So when you both now that I'm looking at it, like like old rom-com movies, like when Harry Met Sally.
Yes.
You Got Mail. I guess we move all towards the native digital part of it, but this was just literally, hi, I remember you. Do you remember me?
Do you remember me?
Yeah. And would you like to go out?
Interesting question. I must say
That can get deep. This question can get deep. Like, ideally, what would you want? Like, ideally, I guess you want those romantic moments, like in movies.
Oh, an epic battle between a...
Or you rescue damsel in distress on the giraffe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
My giraffe starts, going crazy. Tristan uses his elephant to somehow tame the giraffe.
What? Have you seen how giraffes fight?
I have. They flip their necks.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. What's wrong with pineapple on pizza?
Pizza? Okay.
Wait. What's your favorite pizza?
A margarita with garlic and avocado.
Well, I'll ask that question, but...
Yeah. Why did you ask that question?
Because it was on the list.
Oh. No, but absolutely not. Pineapple on pizza is a no-go.
Hawaiian pizza, like I've always liked Hawaiian pizza as a kid, so I don't really have an issue with pineapple on pizza. It's not my favorite, but I have no issues with it. So this recent, like, hoo-ha.
Okay, look, my argument was going to be that fruit doesn't belong on pizza, but tomato is
tomato, yeah, exactly. I was about to say tomato is a fruit, and that's the whole base of a pizza.
So to be honest, I don't have a fair argument, but no, I don't think it belongs on pizza.
Fine.
You like it?
I have no issues. It's not my favorite, but I have no issues. So my favorite is also margarita.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Interesting.
Yep, so from Andy Cho, again, shout out Andy Cho. I'm not planning this is just coming up. Yeah, but Andy Cho's margarita is my favorite.
Have you ever been to Holy Dough here at Witches? Your life is going to change, Andley.
So many people have told me
like
my life changing going to specific restaurants.
No, like
let's better deliver.
Chris told me that the pizza at Italio was life-changing.
Yeah, that's what he said as well.
Did you try it?
No, I didn't.
I told him it was great, but if I'm being honest with you...
Well, now. So Chris is our fellow colleague.
Yes.
Behind the scenes. But yeah, all guys, we're not getting a piece of shit.
I'm sorry, Chris. I was just trying to be nice. But the pizza sucks. Honestly, if I can give you a fair reason, it's because... sometimes like when they make the tomato base, like the fruit is like sour, and then like the tomato base is like sour as a result. No. Italio has sour pizza. It's not a vibe. It's not a vibe. Fair enough.
So I just have to add this. So I'm Asian and I love sushi. And a lot of people are liking sushi now. And when I first come to South Africa, it was not the thing. Nobody really enjoyed sushi. When you hear sushi, like, ew, raw fish, blah, blah. But now it's trendy, everybody eats sushi. However, I just want to put it out there. I have not been to a single restaurant in South Africa yet that sells proper sushi.
Like proper
sushi. Like the most important, the foundation of sushi is the rice.
Okay,
but just getting the rice right. Like how long you need to let it like soak for in vinegar and sugar, the amount of sugar, vinegar to rice content. It needs to be perfect, and that's an art. Like sushi is an art.
It's a fine art.
Yeah, it's a fine art. And now here it's just comfort kitchen.
It's just like
just stuff. Take it and go. And yeah, that's what.
Admittedly, do you know how often there's a kung fu kitchen right outside the estates?
Yeah.
And like maybe like every third night
I go there as well. It's fast and convenient, and
exactly.
And it's good portion, so it's value for money. But I'm just being picky here. But the real sushi, like the real sushi, it's
the best sushi that I've ever had was in Iceland, funny enough.
Iceland.
It was in Iceland.
This is because the fish was fresh, or?
Maybe. Okay. I just remember taking a bite of that sushi and being like, oh my God. Like God must have kissed this before it landed on my plate, because it's fine.
What's the most ridiculous thing you've ever won or been awarded?
I actually have a good one. Okay, so when I was like, I think I was probably like in grade like 1 or 2, like a really little kiddo. Our school used to do this like thing every spring day where we would have like a balloon competition where you have to like, so you get a balloon with helium in it, and then you have to like write your name on like a little card and your phone number and stuff. And then at the same time, you all release your balloons into the sky. Really bad for the environment now that I'm older and I think about these things. We released our balloons, and then the competition is like whose balloon travels the furthest in the world.
Okay.
And my balloon ended up like really far away. I can't remember where.
How would you know that? How do you totally track that?
So it's like the school's contact number, right? And if someone finds your balloon with this contact number, they call in like to a school and say like, hey, I found this.
Somebody actually called.
Someone actually called, okay. And it was like really far away, like different country vibes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can't I was too young. I can't remember where, but I won like a huge prize because my balloon
Traveled the furthest.
went far. I don't know.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
For what prize did you win?
I won like, this Quality Street chocolates, like a box of,
That's a cool competition. So back in the day, we used to have this egg dropping competition. So you have to design, I don't know if they still do it. I thought it was pretty cool. So you have to design basically like a protection for an egg, and then you drop it from the second floor. And if it doesn't break, then I would use chopsticks, and I basically built this like pyramid-shaped landing pod, and I used a plastic bag as the as a parachute.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was very cool. And you won.
You won eggs.
You won 6 eggs. That was one of the prize. So that was pretty. Yeah.
What did you make with the eggs? Did you just you don't remember?
I don't remember what. I was like.
You should have come up with something and said like, oh, I made like a, I don't know, something really cool.
Yeah, no, that was just eggs. It would be nice to have like sweets or something because you're still a kid.
No.
This is like grade 5.
Grade
5 or grade 6.
Well, now that you mentioned parachutes for eggs out of plastic bags, it made me think of something truly traumatic that I went through as a kid, right? Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny. So I used to have this teddy bear. Its name was Teddy. Okay. And I took it everywhere with me, literally everywhere. Yeah. And I used to play this like game, I guess you will, where I used to like build little tents and things for my teddy bears outside in the garden and then pretend they were camping and then like leave them there overnight and like, they were like camping, and then I would go and find them again in the morning. We used to have a dog. His name was Russell. Sorry. His name was Russell, and he was a Doberman, so quite a big dog. And Teddy was camping outside, and the next morning I arrived and there was a grisly murder scene. Teddy's head was separated from his body. It was graphic and traumatic. And my mom sewed his head back on, and I still have him to this day.
I have a similar experience.
Really?
So he's got me new. I think it was like a raccoon. It wasn't a bear. Mm-hmm. And then I have an older sister. And she and her friends came over, and she was sort of like, they were teasing me by throwing the bear around. Okay. Maybe we get it. But then the one girl threw it, and it went straight outside where my Rottweiler, the first thing I went was, and also it was in pieces. And my mom also sewed it back together.
Is it?
So it made it more special.
Yeah.
Story attached to it.
Exactly.
On that though, so teddy bear. We're talking about teddy bears.
Yeah.
You know where the name teddy bear comes from?
I know it comes from hunting bears and a president.
Yes. Theodore Roosevelt.
So
that's where our connection comes from. Would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, by the way, if you guys hear that sound, so we put our podcast audio through like an audio enhancer, so it's possible you may not hear it. But if you do hear something that sounds like a demon in the background.
It sounds like a Nazgul. If you guys like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a pet cockatoo. His name is Poirot. And he loves to express himself.
An interesting and random fact,
An interesting and random fact, Okay.
The point about teddy bears.
No, give me another random fact. That doesn't count.
No. What would you have to give me a random fact? No. I actually know so many. We're honest with like we don't plan these questions.
No.
We don't rehearse it. So yeah, this is off the top of my head.
We don't know what we're saying. Okay, so an interesting fact I know. Well, probably any interesting fact that I could tell you, you're probably already aware of, because you're quite fact-based. You're going to have to give me a sec to think. Okay. Give us an interesting fact in the meantime, because you're already fact.
Interesting fact. Any football lovers out there? So the player called Eden Hazard that Real Madrid spent millions on, right, has been in more Nivea for Men commercials than he has actually playing for the club that bought him for multiple millions.
Wow.
Yep. So imagine buying a racehorse, for example, but it can't race. Yep. So I'm a big football fan. This is what Megan's thinking. I'm a big football fan. Support Manchester United. You either love it or hate it, or thumbs up or thumbs down on that. And I used to go about my day, or my week is dependent, or my mood for the week is dependent on how well my team played over the weekend.
Yeah. I've been thinking for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? I have so many I'm forever annoying Tristan with fun fact. But now that I'm on the spot, like, can I think of a fact? No. It's like I've forgotten all the knowledge.
Daniel Craig, James Bond, was a stormtrooper in one of the Star Wars movies.
Really?
Just because he wanted to be on.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I mean, the only facts I could give you right now are like lame design facts. So it's like, that's about it.
I need to learn. That's probably the place where I would.
Okay, well, there's an optical illusion in design, right? Yeah. Where if you take a square and you make a circle that is exactly the same size as the square, your brain... No, like next to each other. Okay, your brain is always going to perceive the circle as smaller just because it has rounded edges. So you're always going to have to make the circle bigger than the square in order to make it look, but it's actually always bigger. Yeah, so they use that a lot in typography. So you'll always see like, the O's, all the rounded letters are always going to be much larger than the other letters if you actually like measure them. Okay. Well, it's a fact.
No, but it's cool. I think it's important, especially when it comes to design and it comes to marketing. Yes, something we do, and this is where Megan is proficient in. So something that I went and had a conversation with my tattoo artist is that if you have like living images, like animals and stuff like that, it should always go with the flow of your body.
Yes.
It should never go against.
Yes.
Do you want to know why?
Movement.
Yeah, but like, is that the main reason?
Movement is a principle of design, so it's important that you have like...
So it's not contradictory.
No. So you're creating movement on something that already moves, you know?
In the right direction.
In the right direction, yeah. A movement is such a complicated thing to explain in design because it really only refers to your eyes and the way that your eyes visually move across an image. But yeah, beyond that...
So I think it's ergonomics as well.
It is.
It's cognitive ergonomics. For like when you look at a design, when you look at a brand, you look at a website, there's ways of how your brain processes the information. Yes. And that's something you need to maximize so you can get the best user experience, you can get the best user interface.
Yeah.
But something interesting though, that I've just thought about now. So in Asian culture or in like Middle Eastern culture, so Western culture, everything is from left to right. Read a book, could stream, but like in Western, in Eastern culture, it's not.
Yes, right to left, up to down.
So it'll be interesting to understand how design, how that possibly affects design.
Definitely, it would. I could only imagine what the effect on that must be, but the effect on design because of that is tremendous. Yeah. But another interesting thing I just thought out of the same topic, I'm just going on a tangent here, is there's actually, I think it's a UK company, they developed a software that like visually scans your design for you for success. So when you create a design, there's like, you've got to create movement for the eye to follow from the most important thing in the design to the least important thing. Because you obviously want people to look at the most important thing. So this software literally scans your design and it tells you how people are going to look at it. So that if they're not looking at the most important thing, then you can go back in and make the most important thing more important and test it again. Yeah. They use it a lot for like packaging design and...
So it's a software?
It's a software, yeah. But I think it's a pricey one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
I'm going to say, okay, well, the question didn't say that we can't have help.
I didn't say you can't have weapons.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to say one, like, horse-sized duck. Because something tells me that a duck would be easier to, like, terminate.
Seen, like, okay, so ducks can be vicious.
But I mean, if you have, like, okay, so now you have, like, a team of 10 people, and you all have, like, a bow and arrow, and everyone fires an arrow at once. It doesn't say you can't do that. And then it's over.
But, I mean, and look at an ostrich. That's sort of a horse-sized duck. They're pretty terrifying.
They are.
No, but you can have. I think we need to limit the parameters.
We do. Okay, no weapons.
Hand to hand.
No weapons, no help.
Yeah, no weapons, no help. Because you and this thing.
Okay.
So it's like, are you willing to take on an ostrich?
Okay, but the question is here: are you willing to take on 100 duck-sized horses? Because that's also it's an army of duck-sized horses.
That's just as scary.
I'm still going to say the ostrich is the...
You'll better chance against the one?
Yeah, a horse-sized duck, because it's one thing that you got to get done, you know, whereas if you're fighting an army of like Dark-sized horses.
They can overrun quite easily.
Which one would you rather fight?
I would run forward. No, you make a good point though. I think the one big thing probably makes sense as well, because when you have tons of little things, like they're erratic.
Yes.
Right? And they can be all over, and you don't know where to look, and you don't know where to. At least if you have one solid thing to fight against, you know where your enemy is.
Yeah. Like, for example, if you're doing the, like, you know, duck-sized horses, and you're focusing on these tiny horses, then those tiny horses are like, you can't watch your back, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So you don't have them to fight.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think I would.
Like,
The one big duck.
okay, one gigantic duck. But let's hope that never happens. You don't want to have to fight him. He sounds kind of nice.
Ducks are cute until they're not.
Yeah,
Geese are scary.
they are. They do like that. Yeah, like kind of.
Like scratchy. They've got claw.
You know, the parrot also does that. Hey, yeah, he also goes like when he doesn't like you.
What's the most ridiculous nickname you've had?
Oh God, I've had so many ridiculous. It's all my mom's fault. She gives me a million ridiculous nicknames. Like, I am Gonzo. Why? She calls me Gonzo because I used to love the Muppets, like a lot. And my favorite Muppet was called Gonzo.
Wait, what was Gonzo?
Gonzo's he's like a spaceman with like a long nose.
I think I know which one.
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, he is. So like, I like never stopped talking about Gonzo from the Muppets, so then my mom just started calling me Gonzo. So Gonzo is one of my nicknames.
It's this guy.
Yeah.
The guys are simple.
Maybe. But as a result of Gonzo, there's also Gonzi, Gons, Gandhi, that comes from Megan. So there's also Gandhi.
Okay.
She also calls me Pebble. So there's a million red nicknames. And you?
I don't really have a nickname. I don't really have any nicknames. I have, like, people call me Wu because of my surname. I remember a funny story. So I played rugby, played first team rugby, believe it or not, broke my collarbone twice. And Victor Matfield's dad was our coach.
Yeah.
I think he was captain on the Springboks. And for the life of him, he couldn't remember my name, or he just couldn't pronounce my name.
Yeah.
Okay. So he couldn't pronounce Andrew. And all he remembered was Wu. So he would just call me Wu from then on. So everybody else at school called me Wu or Wu man, and I thought that was hilarious.
Did you ever know the Wu men? Did you?
No.
If we should Google it. They were like these little plushy toys, okay, that were like all distorted and like weird creatures. And they were literally called the Wu men. Yeah.
Oh, and then there's a rap called the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh yeah, Wu-Tang.
Do that. Yeah, it would be Wu-Tang or Wu-Man.
So in other words, guys, we're going to have to come up with a nickname for Andrew because he's been left out.
Oh wait, so recently I went to Starbucks.
Ah, yes.
And everyone had like Andley, but the dude wrote Andley, like the lady's name. And then they started calling me Andley. Yeah.
And then you didn't say the full nickname. It's because your surname is Wu. Yeah. His nickname is now Andley Wu-Man. Okay, like it only makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's sticking.
Andley Wu-Man. I like it.
So what was the best project? What was the favorite project for a client that you've worked with?
This year?
No, since you've...
My favorite project, specifically for a client though. There's been so many.
But which one stands out? If you could think like, oh, that was such a fun project.
Probably the Rare Bear, the one with Rare Bear. So like 2 years ago, I did a project with like an NGO called Rare Bear that focuses on uplifting children with rare diseases. And that really stood out to me because I learned so much about rare diseases, you know, the children, the nature of the rare diseases themselves. And it was such a humbling experience, and it was just interesting.
So that was the actual project that you enjoyed, being able to make a difference, being able to bring attention to...
Exactly, because it definitely felt like you're stepping beyond the realm of marketing. Yeah. It's not just like, oh, buy this, buy that, you know, this is really cool. Yeah. It had a much deeper meaning and a much more special cause. Yeah. So I think...
And I want to flip it around now. What's the worst?
The worst one?
Worst project, Can you expand it to Worst project, worst. I'm going to say worst.
Okay.
Worst.
Well, in this case, obviously, I won't mention names because I don't want to know. But I know someone that made most of our projects quite
all of them
quite difficult.
So this wasn't project specific. This was more the person.
This was person specific. Yeah. But if I could align it out to one, it would probably be a certain car related company. Yeah, I despised working on all of their stuff.
Okay.
Just meaningless. It had no meat to it. It's just.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you what's your favorite?
Best projects I've worked on. Projects called Safer Cause for Africa. We basically introduced. This was via the company that I used to work for when I was still employed by another company, and we basically set up in-cab crash testing. So again, it's just for a cause, right? We want safer roads for South Africa, save lives. And basically what we did is we got funding, we bought we bought cars that are in South Africa that's available to the consumer, had them deregistered and shipped them to Germany for crash testing. And just the overall project, what it meant to me, the research that was involved, the perfectionists that the Germans are when it comes to engineering on how they run the test, and then the marketing and the press releases and the event that we held to disseminate the results of. Yes. For me, that was definitely one of the highlights of my career. Lowlights, I don't want to say anything is low light because you sort of learn from the project.
You definitely do.
Yeah, and I've been in companies from small private entities to larger organizations, to governments, to relatively high up in government. I won't mention departments. But yeah, the government is definitely one of the most challenging jobs, and not necessarily on the job on its own. It's just the bureaucracy and the politics that's involved
in that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's, again, like I said, I don't take any experience as bad, but it's just it becomes so challenging when things can get done so easily, and when there's different agendas from different groups that you work thinking for. So that's what's made it.
Interesting question. I like the way that you tied it back to OLO. I think that's nice. On the same topic, what's your favorite thing about OLO?
So spontaneity and creativity. So and flexibility. I think the world that we live in, or the transition that we're living in, and we've transitioned so fast, right? I mean, just 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, cell phones were used by stockbrokers.
Yeah.
Important people on Wall Street. Not everybody has access to information.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is going to evolve to a part of psychology that I'm very passionate about, is mental wellness, especially when it comes to mindfulness. And being able to be flexible, being able to adapt is a big part of what our business is, or helping other companies adapt and change and pivot so that they can grow. And that's what we're about. It's about that flexibility. And why I bring up the psychology part is if people have heard of survival of the fittest, right? It doesn't mean you'll survive because you're the strongest. Fittest means survival of people that can fit in the most within a certain context.
Natural selection.
Natural selection. And within the business environment as well, it's constantly changing.
Yep.
Right? Economic factors, social factors, and all of this is what we tie into our research and our planning to make you be able to fit in to best practices that is happening.
To fit into your environment.
And make you become better than what you were. I don't want to say the best, but better when you were before. And we'll try to just be the best.
Exactly. I mean, I think that should honestly be every agency's goal, but we will know that it's not. Some of them, the only goal that exists is to make money.
Yeah.
And, I think my favorite thing about OLO is just that we don't take ourselves too seriously, but we take our work seriously. And
that's very important.
Yeah, I think that's important. Yeah. You don't want to take life too seriously. I mean, you can't. The moment you start to do that, you'll start to go crazy. But the work, we put in a lot of effort to make sure that our clients get exactly what they need and deserve. Yeah. So, I'm proud of us for that.
I think sometimes people don't exactly know what they want or what they need, but this is where we come in, right? Because of the research elements.
Exactly.
Joining with the design, joining with the publicity. in the development avenue. So we try and tie in all the value chains that would otherwise be separated in the outside world into one service offering from our side.
Can I ask you a question related to that design research dichotomy? What have you learned about design since OLO became a design company as well?
Okay, so the first thing that I learned is I'm not that good. Leave design to the professional. That's really important. Like a lot of times you critique other people and you criticize. No, don't critique. It's criticize. That design is no. Yeah. But then when you're trying to understand it from designer's perspective, from a creator's perspective, how much work is actually involved in all these little things, right? Yeah. We talked about it just now about looking smaller than somebody else. Yeah. All these little things play a role in how you perceive certain elements of a brand, certain logos, certain communication efforts. And if you don't get that right, it hinders your whole brand. There's a difference between good and perfect or good and great. And you can see so many people, like something that irks me, and I'm sure it does you, that overstretch an image and then post it on Instagram. And it's your company logo and brand. Or your stuff is blurry as hell, and you can't even make up heads or tails of it. And these are big corporates paying people money to do this. And for me, like I want to bash my head against the wall. And a lot of times people won't know the difference, or they just think, this doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But in today's world, the first thing that we're going to do to review a company or to look up a company is go onto their social media pages, go onto their digital pages and see like, okay, so they do this. Okay, no, they've got a proper A, B, C, and D. They've got a proper storefront, everything. Then we'll be like, okay, they're more likely to be legitimate. And
exactly. I think something that a lot of people don't think of or don't understand when they think of design, it's not just making things pretty, making things aesthetic, or even just having a brand image. Like, okay, because all of this stuff is here, the brand must be legit. Design is literally visual communication. That's what it is. It's a form of communication.
It's a science as well.
Yeah, you're saying things when you create a design. That's the whole point. Yeah. And if you're not saying those things correctly, you rub people the wrong way, Okay, we are live again. Technical difficulties, growing pains.
Well, not really. It's just our memory card ran out of space again.
Oh, that's a growing pain.
There it is. Definitely.
Those SD cards are...
We'll get a bigger one to solve these issues.
Yeah, so hopefully this is the last podcast where you experience breaks.
First and last.
Yeah. Okay, so what were you asked?
So Megan was telling,
I was talking to you about the research. Okay, well...
What you've learned with research.
Yeah, essentially the tangent I was headed on was just that I've learned so much about research since I started working with you guys. And I guess the biggest thing that I've learned has a lot to do with how to read data. Because when I was at university, whenever you do a degree, there's always some kind of research involved. And design research is so different to...
scientific research.
To science. And there is a fly. And I think he is going to land on our camera. If he lands on our camera lens...
It's fine. He'll become our mascot instead of the bird.
Yeah, the fly on the wall. Okay, well, yeah, I was basically just saying it's more about reading data, because design data or, research is very qualitative. Yep. It's not quantitative almost at all. Yep. So that was something that I really... I don't know, I struggled to understand because, I'm not a numbers person, but I've learned so much about reading quantitative research since I started working with you.
So when you put it that way, and it's still scientific, subject to data, so it's the method of how you interpret that data that you put it out into the world. So Megan is absolutely right. Qualitative data is still very, very important, but it's less tangible. And for us to quantify that makes it a little bit more tricky, but you can still do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, design research is literally just understanding people. That's the whole point of it,
I think emotions that design elicits and the way that it's communicated, those are very important.
Exactly.
What picture speaks 1,000 words, and you wanna speak 1,000 words with an image that takes a lot of skill, research, creativity.
Yeah. No, you definitely have to look quite deeply into it, because otherwise it goes back to design being visual communication. You need to understand the people you're speaking to. Otherwise, there's no point in speaking to them, you know?
I think so. Just for us to end off, I want to ask one final question.
Okay.
Favorite brand? Because of the creativity and marketing behind it.
Favorite brand? Tokidoki.
Okay.
Hands down.
What is Tokidoki?
Tokidoki, okay. For anyone who doesn't know what Tokidoki is, I wish I had I do have an example. Okay, so I'm obsessed with Tokidoki. Tokidoki was actually a designer he was somewhere from Europe, but it looks very Japanese inspired.
I didn't even inspired.
They do like these little unicorns and like characters and things. These are called unicornos, and then there's also mermicornos, which are like unicorns with mermaid tail. I've seen them. You've seen them? Yeah. I love them. I love their brand as a whole because I think their visual imagery is spunky. It's very spunky, and the characters are also spunky. And I honestly can't tell you why I love it that much, but I just think the branding works so incredibly well with the products that they're selling. It's fantastic. Yep. I could talk about Tokidoki for years, so please shut me down now before
but their product and their marketing is almost one and the same.
It is.
Because
exactly.
It's characters, right?
Yes.
It's because it's the characters is the whole vibe on their own.
Exactly.
And that's what they market. It's that vibe that they're selling.
You would have to really look at like a Tokidoki poster to understand exactly what I'm talking about. But the brand is just so well developed and so well defined. Favorite brand?
Favorite brand. Okay, this isn't a favorite brand. I think this is more just the way that they've developed this company.
Okay.
Is for me, I don't want to say, it's just impressive. Okay, so it's Rolex.
Okay.
So watch brand Rolex.
Yes.
Don't own a Rolex. My parents do. I think I'm still too young for that. But they come out with a way of, so they're workman watches. And when they first founded, they were used for diving, they were used for military, for pilots, actually for pilots, not for military, either or. But the way that they marketed themselves as a luxury brand, as the way, you can't just get one anymore. Okay, the wait list currently is absolutely crazy.
I've got an interesting thing to say about that.
I thought you were going to say you have a Rolex, and I'll be like, I'm jealous, but...
No, God, I wish.
So it's the way. It's almost like Ferrari's a similar deal. They'll build one car less than market desires. So there'll always be a market for that product.
That is exactly what I was just about to say.
They need hype for their own product.
Yes, by limiting the amount of products that they produce.
And in itself, they're not the best. They're mechanically, they're not the best. Maybe one time or the other they were, but they've just able to perpetuate this myth, this market, this propaganda that exclusivity. So they're literally selling exclusivity.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
That's very, very smart.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's very dependent on the type of product that you're selling. There are service industries that are like as well, that are like we'll only cater to this clientele.
Or we cherry pick our clientele.
Yeah. That in itself is its own marketing. People want to be like, I want to work with them, or I want to do this, or I want to drive it. Yeah, so those kind of marketing for me it's not creative. We're not saying it's the most creative. We're just saying it's impressive in how they've built that company.
I also think that specific question says a lot about who we are as people. Here's Handley talking about Rolex, exclusivity. And here I am talking about stupid little characters.
But that does not limit us, okay? No. I like that's stupid. I like Tokidoki. I've got this one where it's about a boy and his bear.
Yes.
And so usually you think Winnie the Pooh, but he's completely the opposite of Winnie.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
But yeah, I have a huge thing for just like cute, silly things. He gave me, it was actually my birthday recently, and he gave me a Wally and Eve mini Lego set.
Brickhead's Lego set.
He knows me quite well. Yeah, just, Yep. Yeah.
So we like toys. That's also
we do. We like toys.
We're a big fan of toys because, again, there's creativity involved, there's imagination involved, and it influences pop culture, influences our culture.
Toys aren't just for kids. That's the whole point, But I think we should probably end off our podcast here because I don't know how much longer our audience wants to talk. We're yet to determine that. yeah, so I guess how do you want to end things off?
So thank you very much. This was the first podcast. Leave comments, give us a like, give us a subscribe.
Yes.
If you like what you hear about us discussing in the future, please let us know, and we will try and tackle it the best we can.
Exactly.
If there's any more research work related questions, feel free to pop us an email or comment as well, and we'll reach out to you. And thank you so much.
Yeah, so moral of the story, we are OLO. That is who we are, what we do. I'm Megan, this is Andley. You're going to be hearing a lot more from us. And if you're watching this on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, please join the design side of the force.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Cheers.